Big cat, how you came to be is no longer a mystery. Black sheep is your birthright. It's code for the one who brings the light. I bet if there's a crack, you don't fall back. Remember who you are. No rest for the wicked with their skullduggery. The use spell workers' projection to send out envy, hate, and jealousy. You are the prototype, your ancestors champion. They shield you and send back those spiritual attacks. You are divinely protected from the dummy bats. Yeah. Big cat, the most high, got your back. He sits high and looks low, so don't get smoked or smoke yourself. Big cat, move in silence. Only time you speak is to say checkmate.
Rising. Welcome or welcome back to Frequency Phoenix 555. Nearly said Big Cat Astrology. Are you fabulous, gorgeous, and lovely? Well, guess what, bestie? Guess what? Oi! Crowd in, darling dears. Giving it a hot minute for the other big cats to assemble. They sent Bud Juju. Yes, they did. To the what? Move in silence champion, darling dears. Imagine that. Most of us was what stuffing the turkey, but oh no, they was up to some hocus pocus out in them streets, darling dears, using that energy of the full cold moon in Cancer, darling dears, against you. Yes, you. Not me, could never be. Why? I'm always protected. Notice I'm wearing my third eye trackie. So many people like this tracksuit so much. It's even got the third eye down here on the thigh. I've actually made it up for you, darling dears. Go over to my Teesprings and pick up your own third eye. It's even got a third eye on the back, darling dears. Always covered. But anyhow, we're going to dive in because you know I can't see Shiz Naive without my spectacles of truth. So let's start this properly, darling dears, as we get ready for 2024. Yes, baby. Yes! Who they playing with? Not the big cat, I think not. How now, brown cow? How dare they? They did, big cat.
Okay.
They played with the wrong one. Why? You move in silencio! In the past, you used to talk to I, myself, and me. Now it's just hi, and hi again. Let's dive in, darling dears, and see what's going on with these bottom feeding hocus pocus juju senders. Listen, nearly couldn't get it out. Nearly was out of breath, darling dears. Allow me for that. Let's dive in. Yes, bestie. Let's get the Astro dice and get the first message out from there. How many sticks of dynamite does the big cat have against all of this Shiz Naive, these shenanigans? Big cat, number one, you have Saturn. And guess what? Lean in, bestie. You've got Saturn. And we are fast approaching 2024, which is going from a 7 in 2023. That's what the year comes to. 2024 is an 8. Saturn is the ruler of the number 8, darling dears, and all matters to do with it, right? Saturn, the number 8, also speaks about you being in master manifestation mode at this moment in time, darling dears. Remember I told you that. Don't waste your energy wondering about whom the Juju caster is, darling dears. What you do now is your spiritual baths, darling dears. And you start getting ready for the new year. I told you Pluto is going into Aquarius for the next 19 years, darling dears. Everybody's going to get what? Pressed out and pressed down, one way or the other. The energy of Saturn, darling dears. Your birthday may be the 8th, the 17th, or the 26th. Your most luckiest days over the next few days will be Friday and Sunday. The 8 also speaks about you being what? Materially satisfied, darling dears. You're about to what? Step up in a big way. Why? You spent the whole of 2023 what? Giving and receiving to those that deserve it, darling dears. And giving the most to thyself. Why? You can't what? Sock it to them from an empty house, darling dears. You're the big cat. Come on. It also speaks about you standing in your power as well as your authority, darling dears. The energy of Saturn. Let's lean in a bit more, bestie. It's about you what? Being on a solitary journey. You've been solo dolo like the boys or girls on the pole. The Saturn energy also speaks about the gloomy days, the obstacles, darling dears, and the secrets you had to overcome. It also speaks about some of you was really punishing yourself about this, putting limitations on yourself about this, darling dears. But remember I told you, you was being unfair to thine self. Why? Because they put bad juju on you to create what? A blockage in your creativities, making you confused, not knowing about your next move, worrying about this, worrying about that, and not focusing on your what? That BAG, darling dears, the bag, darling dear, the bag. Go for the bag. Why? It gives you opportunity and choice to live how you wish to live on this Malkuth. Saturn also comes with what? Rewards for your determination and focus. Focus, refocus, big cat. We don't look back. Why? We ain't Lot's wife blood. It doesn't go with our what? Melted, invisible lace fronts. Are you kidding me? No! No! Could never be. The energy of Saturn also comes with what? The time, darling dears. They put some kind of time limitation on you, darling dears. Remember I told you that? Yes, baby. This time limitation, this funk that you've been going through, because Saturn takes 2.5 years to transit. So look back at your life over the past 2.5 years. You've been having minor victories. Why? Yeah, you've been focused, darling dears. But you didn't what? Protect your auric field. You didn't stop looking back to see if they'd missed you or if they were sorry. You was waiting for their comeuppance, darling dears. All the time leaving an opening in your auric field. This is why they was able to send Bajuju to Yo-Yo. Who? Yes, you! The moving silence champion. Yeah. Saturn also rules the skin, the bones, teeth, knees and ears. So you may have been having issues around that area, cropping up of eczema, you know, automatic. I mean, suddenly you've got like some kind of allergy. You're itching, you're scratching, you're getting the bumpity bumps, darling dear, and not in your trunk. No, on your face, on your kitchen, darling dears. There's been issues with your skin. There's been issues with your blood pressure. You may even have had issues, darling dears, dare I say, because Saturn can go into the Nevern region, darling dears. Around that area, you've been having issues, and many of you are celibate. Why? Because they send that Bajuju to you, and they're waiting to see if you faltered or failed. Why? Because you are the moving silence champion. Pinkies up. Now we know exactly who it is, darling dears. We have the energy of Gemini. Gemini represents what? Siblings, darling dears, and distant family relatives like aunts, uncles, cousins, yes baby, the nephews and the nieces. Yeah, we know exactly who sent this bad energy towards you, darling dears. This is somebody who is from your blood line. The same line you jumped off and rolled, right? The same line, yeah? The one you just took your chances with the gravel, yeah? All right, let me just calm down because we've got to finish this read. You also have what? There can be only one, darling dear. Yes, baby, the energy of one. The number one speaks about your individuality, darling dears. It speaks about you having attained a level of independence that is opening up new beginnings for you. However, in order to assume your full leadership, darling dears, as you continue to co-create with the Most High, Father, God, Mother, Isis, you have to what? Close that auric field. The energy of the one is ruled by the sun. The sun is yourself, your ego, darling dears. The sun also rules your soul mission. It also rules what? Your reputation, darling dears. Some of you may have been having issues around your head, your eyes, maybe your nerves. It could also have affected your heart, darling dears, your sense of movement. Maybe you started getting joint pain. Maybe you're getting arthritis, darling dears. It's all of the energies that were sent towards you. But guess what? They did not anticipate that me and you were besties like this. And then we're going to what? Dig deep into what this is, darling dears. Why not, eh? Because we're relaxed, remember, we're relaxed. But we're still focused, yeah? So we're ready to pounce, yeah? Yeah, that's how we move, darling dears. In silence. The energy of the one, darling dears. This also brings in your birth date, maybe the 1st Oh, my son, my firstborn son's birthday's on New Year's Day. So the 1st, the 10th. My youngest daughter's birthday's on the 10th. The 1st, the 10th, the 19th, or the 28th. Something significant around these dates. It also brings in, are we listening, darling dears? Do I have your attention? Or do I have to pound the gavel? It also brings into mind, you already got Friday and Sunday, but you also got Friday again, as well as Saturday, as well as the letters A, J, and S. And from the 8th, it was HQZ. So A, J, S, and HQZ, darling dears. This is what their name is being made up of, darling dear. First, middle, or last name. Don't go to the 5th letter that you're not sure on, blood, because you don't know the spelling, because you haven't seen their what? Certificate. The energy of the 1 also brings into what? The first card in tarot. That's the magician. You've got the badass alchemist ways, but it also speaks about manipulation, darling dears. Some siblings wanted to bend you, darling dears. They couldn't understand how you could be what? An army of one. They thought that if you was isolated and was by yourself, that you would be one. You're not alone. We always know when we are at our weakest, the Most High carry us. But they didn't anticipate that you would go into what? I, myself, and me mode. And now you are at the I. You have to understand, darling dears, as I've told you many times, bestie, nobody's going to try and break into an empty house. Nobody's going to be what? Putting their immortal soul on the line to try and bring you down. Let's go back into the energy of the Gemini, darling dears. Gemini is what? The 3rd house. Your communication and your thinking is like none other, darling dears. These siblings always recognize this in you. You communicated what? Compassion, love, helpfulness, darling dears. You had what? You put your own target on your forehead, blood. You was too kind. You was too kind. I feel like spitting, but I won't. You was too kind. But there's nothing wrong with being kind, darling dears. Because I've told you again many times, it's nice to be important, but it's important to be nice. But you understood the energy of the 1. You had to know thyself and understand the energy you truly command. And you have to know that you have to close up your auric field, cut those soul ties. I told you this under the energy of the cold moon. You was meant to write down what you was releasing and burn it, darling dears. Did you do it? Because whatever you still allow to be permeating in your area, darling dears, it's going to be in your life for the next 19 years. Why? Pluto is going to be in Aquarius, darling dears. Aquarius, the 11th house. The 11th house of what? Groups, darling dears. Friendships. You will be what? Tying those energies to you, still trying to wonder what's going on. I told you, bestie, when the big cat falls down, we fall on our back. Why? Because we can look up and get up. So it's siblings. They don't like you, darling dears. They don't like the fact that you breathe the same air. Your nostrils flutter, darling dears. They don't like it. They wanted you brown bread, barking at passing cars, or be still my boom diddy boom deen heart, begging them to be your friend. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Okay. Before we carry on, let's get some of this Chalice Wellspring water that I got all the way from Glastonbury. I drove there in 2020, October, for my youngest daughter's birthday. While I was there, I picked up many trinkets. Many. I'm telling you, leave me with a whole boulevard of crystal shops and I'll be gone for hours. And I'll be mad you came to pick me up. Are you mad? I can find my own way. Let's carry on, darling dears. Let's carry on. We want to get into your energy first. Covered with what? Unconditional love, cosmic love, darling dears, universal love. And it all comes from what? The I. Why? Because God was tricky, darling dears. He hid inside each and every one of us. And this is something that you had to learn on your what? Solo dolo walk, like the boys or girls on the pole, darling dears. You are covered by universal grace at this moment in time. We also have what? Purpose and meaning. It's time for you to fully understand your purpose. And I've told you many, many times, you will find it on your birth natal chart, your snapshot of your Akashic records. Your North Node will tell you what karmic past you have to get over in order to ascend towards, darling dears. Your Lilith will tell you about your triggers. Your Venus will tell you about your love and your relationships. Everything is there. I know it's going to look like Swahili written backwards in Arabic, darling dears, but the deeper you go into the forest, the more interest in the trees. You have to be on your purpose, darling dears. We finally have what? The sun. And it also speaks about Sunday. What's today? Today is Saturday, so something's going down, darling dears, on a Sunday. It's about someone's reputation, their ego. And again, it brings in the energy of the numerology of the one, darling dears. And it also has on the back, the law one, never outshine the master. 48 laws of power, darling dears. They tried to outshine you with what? Juju, because they couldn't do it physically. They couldn't do it verbally. They could not do it financially. They went into the spirit realm, darling dears, to try and take you down. They were bold. The number one, the sun energy, is represented by the Fool and the Magician. We already called the Magician with the what? The one, darling dears. We already called that. Manipulation and darling dears. And yes, they are fools. Why? Because they put their soul energy on the line. Nothing like being locked up in the crevice of the devil's balls for air, darling dears. Imagine the work there. So Sunday's most significant to you, darling dears. Again, it's about you what? Refocusing on your purpose, because we've got the Saturn energy here. And as I said, Saturn comes with regulations, it comes with rules, but this is about your reputation, darling dear. We've got what? Acceptance. Somebody wants to be accepted back into your inner sanctum, darling dears. Can you trust them? I don't know, darling dears. Go and bring me a cup of water, but go and get your finest sieve. If you can bring me back a full jug of water, by what? Pouring the water in there through a sieve, I'll take it from you, darling dears. I will take it. Because you got the spiritual growth, darling dears. But some of you are leaving your auric field open. Why? Because you're still wondering about what happened in your rearview mirror. You need not worry about that, darling dears. We saw all the energies that was being affected, darling dears. We already spoke about this. You had your heart, you had with Saturn, it's your skin, your knees, your bones, your teeth, your ears. Your movement, your physical movement, darling dear, your nerve endings. This is what they, oh gosh. Yeah, I was about to say, this is what they sent towards you. Obstacles, it fell out by itself. So they wanted to create obstacles on the big cat, yeah? Who love to move in. You don't even tell it, like I said, it used to be I, myself and me, now it's what? Just I. You're not talking to me, myself and me anymore. Split the deck because you wanted peace. Who's going to be the invigilator for that argument, darling dear, when it's amongst one person? All right. Let's dive in, darling dears. Let's dive in. Let's get your oracle ancestral message. We're going to go with the gods and goddesses. Do we have the book? Yes. Is it the right one? I think it is. I think this is the book. They've got the same picture. I've got to match up the pictures, darling, because I told you I've taken everything out of the boxes because I feel like it's a fire hazard. You want me to make you a... What's that? If you can make me that perfect cup of coffee, I'll be happy to keep... Yeah, but see, when one spend 20 plus years with someone that can't make you a good cup of coffee. Listen, it's like that show that used to come on. Do you remember that lady? I can't remember. She would never make her husband a good cup of coffee because she wanted him to take her out. Was that Married with Children or something like that? Yeah, they did on purpose, Black. They wanted to brack into your pocketbook, handbag, wallet or purse. Yeah, I can't make this up. It's time for you to what? Tap in and tune in, darling dears. This is not for looking backwards. This is about you what? Seeing, conceive, believe, and achieve what you want to co-create at this moment in time. Many of you are readers, darling dears. Highly intuitive. Listen to your intuition and your discernment. It speaks about your emotions as well as your relationship. But you're also being told to what? Handle the situation with dignity. Handle it with dignity, darling dears, as well as what? Wisdom. All right, let's go to the book and see what it says. Right. The seer is on page 60. Goes down to a 6. The numerology of the 6 speaks about you bringing balance, and it's all your responsibility, darling dears. The 6 also to remind you to what? Be protective over what we saw, the 1, yourself and your energies. Stop allowing them to attack your mortal body, darling dears. Illness is not for you. Because they can't get you any other way, darling. They can't even get you on the phone. Right. You to screenshot and read at your perusal. Perusal or peruse at your leisure. Listen, allow me, yeah. We're still in Mercury retrograde and it's right slap bang in what? Sagittarius. Be careful of traveling between now and the 1st of January, darling dears. Sagittarian things will be what? Upside down. I told you, plane tickets, any form of immigration, passports, foreign policies will be very delicate at this time. Be very careful. Right? The message. Look beyond your current situation, raise your vibration, and focus on love. Most indigenous people have a seer in the family. All the seers are the intelligent, intuitive beings who serve as direct channels for information on what's occurring now and what's about to unfold. Okay, their energy isn't about predicting your fortune or future, but about showing you how your intentions are creating it. A true seer will help you see that your intentions can change. Therefore, your future. The extended message is about clairvoyance. Isn't just about predicting the future. It's about being able to see clearly enough to create your best future, darling dears. So this card in particular from your ancestral team is telling you to see past the current situation. See past what is being sent to bind you, darling dears. This bad juju, this bad energy. And it's not just one. And we already broke it down to siblings. The magician also rules neighbors. It could be somebody you was neighborly with, or it could be a neighbor, someone that you broke bread with, darling dears. Shared more than one meal. And never you ever eat more from someone else's pot than they eat from your own. Remember I told you that. Right. Let's get a deck. Base of the... Look! 10 of Swords, darling dears. Incantations, words. They went back to Google spell for it, did they? Or they may have paid someone. No, they didn't, darling dears. This is somebody who's suffering. Why? They got the boomerang effect. Why? You wasn't trying to defend yourself against a spiritual attack. You was minding your business, being focused. Just saw 111 on the counter. Manifestation mode, darling dears. You are on the right path, and it's again a reminder for you to what? Listen to your intuition. You are in manifestation mode at this moment in time. They've gone from the 10 to the 9, so it's a countdown to something. Swords energy could also speak a legal situation. It also speaks about spiritual attacks. They are being spiritually attacked, darling dears. Every time they attack you, they get hit right back. They're not understanding the boomerang effect of it all. Trying to create more what? Challenges. But the challenges in these obstacles are what? Lessons, darling dears. Lessons. Lessons that gave you what? Redirection. You don't speak. Look how the cards went. You don't speak to these people. This energy is blocked off, darling dears. Let's try and shuffle it again. Let's see what's going to happen this time. $110 in the chat. That you are covered in universal love, but in order to what? Fully be open to it and receive what divine wants to gift you, darling dears, because you are chosen. You are not an NPC. You have to close your auric field once and for all. Yeah, it's been slow in coming, darling dears. And it also speaks about celebration. They thought they kept you stuck. This is about you being isolated from a situation. The Knight of Pentacles usually comes with some form of inheritance, some kind of money, darling dears. Lots of arguments and fighting, but you chose not to fight. Fool energy is taking a leap of faith in a different direction, because you knew that every friend in that group had another good friend, and the best friend wasn't you. Yeah, it never worked for you. It was a wrong choice, darling dears, for them to send that energy towards them. Because divine is still going to grant your wishes, but you have to close your auric field. It's time for your final spiritual bath of 2023. Another card. Yep. They're waiting and watching to see what exactly has happened to you. And all the time they're being torn down, darling dears. Being torn down. Right. Let's clarify. This one got left out, look. Deception indicated, darling dears. And it also speaks about wanting to know what's going on in your situation. Somebody would like to sneak back, or you may have an incoming. We saw Friday and Sunday is going to be prevalent days, darling dears. Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Somebody's doing a double Dutch, darling dears. They're trying to see when is the best time to contact you. They want to heal the situation, but they come with lies, subterfuge and spell work. Page of Wands on its face. This is someone who's immature, darling dears. Somebody that doesn't like you to see the fact that you are actually doing better, even though they've been spying at the perimeter, darling dears. They're waiting to see whatever weapon they formed against you was successful. Well, guess what? Six of Wands. Nah, 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 nah. You only messed up my what? Left knee. Or whatever it did to you, darling dears. Catch yourself and have that spiritual bath. 1, 2, 3 in the chat, darling dear. This is the spell work that was sent towards you, the bad juju. Why? Because of jealousy. Why? Because you left that situation and went towards new opportunities. You learned to what? Celebrate by yourself. There's only one person in this picture. And then you found I, myself, and me. You started to commune with yourself, darling dears, and realize certain situations where there's conflict and confusion. Where what? There was no family, no structure. Lovers is what? Gemini energy on its face. The siblings, the neighbors, the cousins, the aunts, the uncles. They was never your friend. Never your friend, darling dears. Lots of jealous energy. This person was jealous of you even from a young child. You was always the sacrificial lamb in that family group, darling dears. The one that they chose to isolate the most. And it made you feel bad. You had no guidance in that situation amongst those siblings, darling dears. Because they was too busy trying to out your light. They had you like fool Leo, but more fool them. Why? You broke away. You learned to pack light. But I'm also here to remind you, even though you are packing light, darling dears, there's no looking back. Remember Lot's wife, Salt Bay. You had to create what? A halocene. Yeah, because your salt levels aren't the same, darling dears. There's a line. There's a line. Why did they go so far as to get the spell work against the big cat, who is the moving silence champion? Why did they go so far to get spell work? We have the star card. They wanted everything in your life to fail, darling dears. They wanted your health to be bad. They didn't want you to have no money. They wanted you to have no chariot of righteousness. They wanted you to be jealous of the Flintstones. They wanted you to be the original bad boy, bad girl foot soldier. darling dears. They wanted you to feel iced out, left out, alone, right? But they most of all wanted to affect your health. Wheel of Fortune in the reverse, darling dears, is what? Full on karma. In the upright, this is dharma, this is good karma. This is for your actions, but they're getting it back, darling dears. They can't understand why they're still what? War-torn, darling dear. Looking ran through. They wanted to directly affect your health. They wanted to affect your money. They wanted you to feel alone. Even though you was born to be what? Head and shoulders above. Why? Because you're chosen, bestie. You're chosen. Well, the devil's not welcome. You had to overcome a lot of things, darling dears. This could be alcohol, drugs, maybe even the sex addiction. Maybe you was too promiscuous. Why? Because you never had a sense of self. Nobody taught you, right, how to what? Claim dominion. They made you feel worthless, and you went out into the world until you caught yourself and realized this was not for you. Devil energy, darling dears. Capricorn energy. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. It's about you what? Overcoming addictions. Maybe you was addicted to them. This people pleasing, darling dears. It also speaks about you help them out of many what? Situations. Maybe they was in violent situations, drug addicted situation. You helped them. You showed them how to stand back up again. And what did they do? They came for your health. Okay. So did they actually exchange money? We want to know, did they? Because money's energy, darling dears. Did they actually exchange money? Yes, they fucking did. Good God, Lord have mercy for Jesus. They put in what? They put in a full, healthy wedge, darling dears. A healthy wedge. They did. They wasn't thinking right. But how can you think right if you're a dummy bat? Hell bent on taking a big cat down. Who's moving in what? Silence. Why? Because they're the champion of said silence. They paid for that shit, darling dears. Because they can't believe how you was able to drop them, darling dear. You don't want to make amends, right? You've minded your own business. Right? Matter of fact, you're the CEO of minding your own business. You're always hiring, but you haven't told nobody where the website is. Fist bump. Yeah. After me, you're in warm heart. Yes, you are. It fell in the upright, darling dears. Yeah. You was overextended in that situation. It looks like you was people pleasing. You was being the carrier of all of their negative energies. 144 in the chat. When the big cat assembled, we say what? Cat, cat. They would like to make amends in a situation that you had to wash your face like David. You had to learn you, darling dears, from the ground up. When you left that situation, you was in confusion, darling dears. You lacked in direction. But you left physically, but you did not leave mentally and fully spiritually, darling dears. This is why they was able to send those attacks to your the only temple you got on this Malkuth, darling dears. These cards alone should what? Make your tummy go shaky, shaky, shaky. You can't even think about these people anymore. You're giving away your energy and you're leaving your auric field out. Why? You're keeping the soul tie going. How can you be the baddest of them all, big cat, if you're still allowing your mind to wander back to the past where you learned nothing, where there was no growth? If there were siblings, they never protected you. They didn't tell you about the facts of... They didn't tell you nothing! Not even how to brush your teeth. Yet they've got the time to put down a fair, healthy whack. 8, the health card, darling dear. The strength card also speaks. They paid for your health, darling dears. They wanted it to attack your physical health. Okay. So they wanted to attack your health. So how's their health right about now? Let's see how their health is. They paid money for that juju. I knew you. Protect yourself, bestie. Worse if they've got anything that you ever gave them in their possession. Oh, Lord have mercy for Jesus. I don't mean to scare you, but God, good God. How's their health? It don't look good, blood. Because this is the Empress. All of the queens, darling. There's on her forehead, right? Somebody's got look, her Panani or Futum is in the air, darling. They've got an issue around their genitalia. Yes, yes, yes. They've got progeny. They're not nurturing to their progenies, darling dears. Their progenies are backstabbing liars, darling dears. There's no spiritual connection here. Nobody tells the truth, darling dears. One of them is also one of them. Freudian slip meant to come out. Is going for some form of surgery, darling dears. And guess when they're going to do it? Under the full moon. Look away, bestie. Look away. Because I tell you all the time, we don't do surgeries. Not on a full moon or a waning moon, darling dears. One of them is going for surgery, darling, and it don't look good. Because the King of Swords in the reverse could also speak about a legal case gone wrong. It can also represent what? Somebody taking you on your final spiritual walk. This is the Undertaker, darling dears. Somebody, you're gonna hear about one of them turning up dead. That's if I don't know how you're gonna hear it, because you're in your eye season. This is the big cat version of the soft girl or soft boy era. You're in the eye season. Yeah. Somebody's gonna be brown bread, darling dears. Yep, and they know it. Someone's got their final countdown. Their health ain't good. Yeah. Because of what they did to you. Two of Swords, they knowingly made this choice. They made it with well, as sane as it can be when you're from what? The madhouse. That mud hut, darling dears. Where did it fall? Spiritually strength, darling dears. Fell in the upright. They wanted to attack your creativities as well as your health. They didn't want you to be the light that you are. They didn't want you to be the torchbearer, the one that shows people the way to go. Oh well, it's not, their health don't look good, darling dears. We're also seeing financial issues, because this is also legal issues. Someone is also going to prison. This also represents the law, the long arm of the law. Moon energy on its face. It also speaks about there is no friendship in that group. They don't even like each other, because they're falling into the sameness of being around each other. Something could be to do with the matriarch, darling dears, but there's a male energy around that's an effing liar. This is the biggest thief, hoodwinker, and this is the one that possibly sent the energy towards you, darling dears. A male sibling. But then again, it could be a Mitch bitch or a bitch Mitch. We can't tell them from afar, darling dears. We only see them from afar, over there somewhere. All because you ended a cycle, darling dears. You ended a cycle of what? Self-destructiveness. This is allowing you to what? Engage in spiritual upliftment, spiritual raising, darling dears, a new beginning. This is enlightenment, but found the hard way. Something to do with a 28-day cycle. Well, it's the moon energy, darling dears. Somebody cycles off. But it could be this woman. I told you it's already rotten. We know what's under that hood. Wickedness, darling dears. Wickedness that they can't wash off. Their health is not good. All right. So what's their money like after they paid that healthy whack, right? They paid someone to take you down, big cat, with some bad juju for you. Okay, their health ain't good. Somebody's going to prison. Somebody's going to the Undertaker's house, right? You got the Star card. Yeah, I'm hoping and wishing and waiting for it to change. The money's not good, blood. They're all up in their head. Yep. Somebody's trying to talk fast out of a situation. Is this a debt collector at their door? King of Cups. Somebody who's viewing them extremely dispassionately, and they can't lie. This also speaks about multiple letters being sent their way, darling dears, that they didn't answer. They've been avoiding it like the plague. Yep. Bill collectors at the door. Yeah. trying to take down the big cat with that bad juju they sent to yo-yo. Notice it came out in the upright for you, darling dears, and the King of Swords as well as the Ace of Swords. This is your chance to be what? Fully complete, fully connected to the Most High. Swords is connected to the God spark in you, darling dears. Swords, air, energy, it's about your intellect, it's about your communication. King of Swords takes the time to what? Mull over the facts, darling dears, the facts of a situation. Look at the timeline. When you became ill, we already broke it down to what? The last 2.5 years. The Saturn energy from the transit. Remember, we've been here a while, darling dears. You'll know when you became ill or when these illnesses came on you, and it's about time for you to get rid of them once and for all. You have the tools, you have the skills. Remember, Jesus said, as can I, so can you. All of us have the potential to heal ourselves from within. But it's also about using your intellect to find the right healing for yourself at this moment in time. All your cards came out in the upright. It's time for you to nurture that body you're in, the skin you're in, darling dears. Because you are what? A fertile and abundant, pregnant with something. Some of you may even be pregnant with a child, but it's the new beginning. We saw the full energy. You've got a decision to make, darling dears. But you'll be doing it clear-headed, not influenced by energies that want you brown bread or sick, darling dears. Imagine how sick and twisted can you be to wish illness on someone? And these people have progenies. The Empress is showing these people have progenies. How could you do that? But we already saw they don't nurture them. Yeah. The sun is big cat Leo energy. Leo energy is the 5th house. The 5th house of what? Your creativities. There's a lot of drama. There's a lot of talk about your creativities at this moment in time, darling dears. Why am I calling the sun energy? Because I can see it with my eye chakras. And we've got law number 1. Never outshine the boss. They tried to outshine you, darling dears. How can they? And here we have the one again. I can't make it up. You've got the badass alchemist ways. Some of you will be going on a short journey in the next few days, darling dears. Be very careful. What did I tell you about these journeys? Sagittarius is retrograde, darling dears. Mercury is retrograde in Sagittarius. No traveling. No long distance traveling between now and the 1st of January. If you can avoid it. If you haven't, good luck. I'll see you. I don't know if I'll see you when you get back, or I might see you in another life, right? But I did tell you, bestie, I did. Listen, it's telling you no traveling, blood. The magician says, go on if you want to. No. Listen, you got spiritual protection, but it's about you, what? Closing up that circle, your auric field, once and for all. And there is no looking back, as I said. We haven't got the time to be Salt Bae, Lot's wife. 9 of Wands also speaks about guidance, your fortitude, darling dears. You've been through many battles, and guess what? They need something to talk about. But yes, these people are waiting to see if their juju really got you. These disloyal ones, darling dears. The king shows that they held some kind of status in your life. Yeah, they're trying to see. Hangman in the reverse. They're trying to see if they've really brought the big cat down, the moving silence champion. Yeah. Well. All while they're doing that, darling dears, they're blocking their own blessings. It's affecting their money. King of Pentacles on its face speaks about their money, their health, darling dears. Chariot speaks about something coming towards them. Something that is being what? Spiritually sent back. Nothing like the ancestors saying, hiya, coming through like Kung Fu Panda. Split the deck. Look, they're trying to message you. Someone's been trying to message you, contact you, darling dears. Someone who would like to sneak back. Listen, one of the spellcasters wants to come back. Well, one more on Julie with your hairline, right? So they can drop off another spell right in your inner sanctum. Imagine that. Putting a juju underneath your bed where you sleep at night time. Imagine that. No one's allowed to come in, blood. The progeny have to show me their birthmarks, otherwise they can't get back in. What do you mean? I'm not joking, Queen of Swords. Don't take back their friendship. They paid money. You saw the Ace of Pentacles, the biggest Pentacles of them all, to affect your health, your money, everything. Don't take them back into your life. Don't even entertain it. Don't go around. I don't care what's going on, mate. Whatever they've got going on, family, don't go there. Don't. Why do you need to go there? You've got your health to focus on. You've got things to be getting on with, like getting to the bag and socking it to them. Don't go back. Ever forward, in the words of Abraham Lincoln, never backwards. Why? Again, I say, Lot's wife, Soul Bay. Continue to mask your intentions. Law number 3 of the 48 laws of power. And don't trust those trying to come back as your friend. Why? Law number 2. Don't trust friends. Use your enemies. And don't, for God's sake, think, oh, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. What do you mean? This is me smacking you across the face, right? 9 of Swords in reverse. Like, you can go and clear out your mind. This is the smack across the face. I wouldn't even get a smack. You get a backhander. And I hope that you roll over and do a backward roll, right? Until you're sitting up again. Because this is outrageous. Didn't take nobody back. There's over 9 billion of us on this Malkuth. What do you mean? They paid hard money, cold cash, to take you out, big cat. People that share your bloodline. 170 in the chat. Well, sucks to be them, because you're still going to win. It's your turn to be on top of the wheel, darling dears. It speaks about change. And again, this is travel, darling dears. I'm here in a mobile home. Somebody's traveling. Don't do it! Listen, I just told you. I told you. Cards, I told you. You see me tell it. I told you. What Mercury retrograde is in Sagittarius. No traveling. Right? I don't care how cheap the flight could cost. The flight could also be in deficit where they pay you to go on it. They're not paying me to go on any flights or any major travel between now and the 1st of January. Are you kidding me? Blood, bruh, or see stream? No. Listen, these are the pallbearers at your funeral if you do it, darling dears. I don't care how tempting it is, especially if it's a trip to be amongst people that paid cold cash to take you down, big cat. That gave you no guidance from childhood to whenever you escaped their clutches, these energy vampires. They look like the Walking Dead. That's what they're looking like at this moment in time. Doesn't matter how much money they pay for their clothes or what car. The car looks like a hearse and they look like the Walking Dead. No trips for you, yeah? Otherwise, I'll be writing in my journal, I sure miss that big cat. But I've got a lovely black frock and a fashion artist that I can wear. Right? They can zoom me into the funeral, zoom link me. So I can go and they'll say, take me right up to the coffin. So got to whisper in their ear. No traveling. Protect yourself, darling dears. They're trying to outshine you, but they can't outshine the one that has been chosen to be the master. All of the injustices, darling dears, this is all they will offer is more of the same, right? Look, do you want to bring cursation on your lineage? Do you want to be destabilized to affect your mental health and your physical health? There's no loyalty amongst them and they don't even like each other. Lots of passive aggressive. Everybody's got debts. This is debts. We saw the bill collectors at the door. And that's not the only bill they have to pay, remember? We saw the devil in reverse. He couldn't get you, so he's got to go somewhere for his due, right? Look! The devil said, hell yeah. Even the devil was shocked. They was like, oh, lordy, lordy. I've got new ones, yeah. Fresh kill. These feeble-minded idiots. The devil's coming for their due. These ones that did what they did to you, they didn't have to do it, darling dears. They could have just left you to live your life, mind your own business, continue to be what? The champion of what? Moving in silence. But no, they wanted your health affected. Your health, darling dears. If that don't make you slitty-eyed and more motivated to what? Bend the matrix, I don't know what will. The devil, look, the devil is what? Oh Lord, oh Lord. When they come in, yeah. All because of what they tried to do to you. They couldn't break you and they can't take you, darling dears. Because you can't be took, you're a big cat. And that's the truth roof. Pinky's up, 163 on the chat. On that note, I drops me mic. Toddle over to my Teesprings, my Patreon, or my TikToks. Thank you very much for your continued support of me in this channel. Thank you for your bookings, your donations, and pick up my evil or your own evil eye tracky. Go to my Teesprings, darling dears, and pick your one up. And as I always say, don't get smoked. And don't smoke yourself. From the ashes, baby. Namaste. Big cat wave. Until we meet again on these tarot streets. Cat, cat. Cat, cat. Continue to move in silence, darling dears. Continue to what? Law 29 of the 48 laws of power. Plan all the way to the end, darling dears. And remember, your reputation, law number 5, is everything. As well as law number 4, continue to what? Say less. Say less. Give it to the Most High, darling dears. You are chosen and you have purpose. Continue the mission, darling dear.